But let me make sure to explain a few things so that I don't confuse anyone and make sure not to give out the wrong information. This map that you see here talks about the storm surge areas of the city. And when you're in the storm surge, there is a greater chance than not that you would have to evacuate. Okay? The Heights is not in that area. Okay? This facility is not in that area. So, what we will be speaking to will be more to the folks that live in this area than the folks that do not. So I just want to make sure I clarify that before we get started, because you're going to hear a lot of discussion about evacuation and storm surge and things of that nature. The other thing to understand, and the reason that we're here, is that we have many Houstonians that do not live in a wonderful facility like the Heights House, but who have some of the same challenges that you may have. Some folks do not live in a facility but use walkers. Some folks do not live in a facility and have the need for oxygen tanks and things of that nature. And those folks might live by themselves, or they may live with their longtime partner, whatever that issue may be. If they have special needs that they need to call and get registered. So one thing that I will ask you to do, and the reason we're here, is because number one, this facility won't have to deal with some of the challenges that other parts of the city will. Thirdly, I need you, that if you know someone that is still living in a home out in the community somewhere, and you know that maybe they're using a walker, a wheelchair, or have special health or medication needs, or they're alone, that I need you to urge them to pick up the phone and get themselves registered with the city. Can you help me do that? So I'm kind of deputizing you today. Is that okay? I don't have any badges to give you, but if you will allow me to deputize you, I'll hold you to your word. Will you help me with that, folks? All right. Okay. Well, we're going to go ahead and get started. Again, thank you and good afternoon to everyone. My name is Adrian Garcia. I am the City Council member for this area that is known as District H. I'm also the chair of the city's Public Safety and Homeland Security Committee. Some of you may know or may not know, but on June 1 was the beginning of the hurricane season for 2007. Every year, June 1 is noted as the beginning of the hurricane season for this region. And so when June 1 comes around, we want to make sure that everyone is ready and as prepared as one can be for a natural disaster. And one of the things that comes to our mind is that we have some of the greatest firefighters, some of the greatest police officers in this country here in Houston, Texas. But there are a lot of things that the community itself can do to help the situation in the event that Houston becomes in the pathway of a hurricane. Now, how many of you remember Hurricane Katrina and Hurricane Rita? It was a mess, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, here is how we are working to make it not as much of a mess. Okay? We need to work together, and we need the public, we need citizens to do some things at home that will help to make sure that everyone, in the event of an evacuation, that everyone is coordinated and that we cover as much territory as much as possible. One of the things that you can do and should have done prior to as beginning with the beginning of June 1 was to develop your own family plan. How many of you know someone that is still living at their home in a single family home? How many of you got a friend or relative that's living out in the community somewhere? How many of you know someone? Okay. I need you to pick up the phone and call them and say this: do you have your own family emergency plan? In the event that an evacuation were to happen, in the event that a hurricane would be coming our way, do you know what to do? Do you know where you live? Do you have at least 3 days of water and food? And do you have a weather radio, battery operated radio at your home? Do you have a flashlight? If you had to evacuate the city, do you know where you might go? These are things that we got to talk about. These are things that we encourage the public to talk about on a regular basis. Yes, it's a hurricane season, but a good family emergency plan is good to have throughout the year. And I'll give you some examples. We are in the summer months. Sometimes folks, some of the air conditioning units may go out and it gets real hot. And so someone has to think about the fact of, where do I go in case my air conditioning goes out? In the winter, sometimes we have, ice on the road. And here in Houston, Texas, if you have a little bit of snow, boy, the city goes crazy, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And so we need to be thinking about those things. Well, what we are blessed also throughout the city are folks like Mr. Ortiz, Mr. Perez, Ms. Griffin, and others that are here in these beautiful vests. You see them in these bright vests? They are volunteer citizen emergency response team individuals. They are volunteers who have gone through some special training to make sure that they can help our firefighters, help our police officers in the event that some unfortunate situations were to occur in our community, especially those that are like natural disasters. In case a hurricane comes, these folks have some training that will allow them to help us get our communities back together while our firefighters and our police officers are out there doing some of the heavy lifting. So we need to make sure that we are also encouraging folks that want to go through this training so that they will know what to do in the event that something were to happen. And then some of the simple things you can do is like really pay attention. We got the news media here, and so in the event that we are under a hurricane watch, God forbid that we're under a hurricane evacuation, we want you to pay attention to the news. Pay attention, have the TV on, and follow their instructions. If you see the mayor or the county judge on TV saying it's time to evacuate, if you live in one of these zones, and we'll talk about that in a minute, we need you to follow those instructions. We need you to believe that the advice that they're giving you is true and correct, and it is the best advice that you are hearing, and you should make a quick decision based on what you hear. So always make sure that you are paying attention to the news. Now, other folks that I'd like to introduce at this time are persons who have a tremendous responsibility in making all of this work. And the first person that we will hear from is Mr. Dennis Stremski. He is the director of the city's Office of Homeland Security. And so I'd like to ask, commonly referred to as Chief Stremski, to please come up and say a few words.